Welcome, everybody. I'm Lynn Cooper, and I'm here on behalf of the Rabbi Israel S. Dresner Center for Learning and its library, which is located right here in Wayne at Temple Beth Tikva. The center, the Dresner Center, in collaboration with the Wayne Public Library, is presenting today's program to further the philosophy of Tikkun Olam, that's Hebrew for healing the world, repairing the world, a philosophy that guided our Rabbi Dresner throughout his lifetime, and one that we hope will continue to inspire through learning and study. Today's program is the fourth Juneteenth program that the Dresner Center and the Wayne Public Library have collaborated on to bring to you, and we're grateful for your attendance. I would like to thank Karen Queeslate and Janet Pardo, who is sitting in the back, who are members of the Wayne Public Library staff, for their participation and cooperation in making today's program happen. As a Wayne resident, I have to tell you I'm very proud of our library and the fact that they have been so anxious and helpful in bringing important programs like this to our community. I would like to thank Barbara Goldstein, who has been a helper for 4 Juneteenth. She's my assistant schlepper. And all of the stuff that's laid out is there courtesy of Barbara and her assistants. And I would also like to thank, are you listening, Wendy? The Passaic County Cultural and Heritage Council, a partner of the New Jersey State Council on the Arts, for their generous support. And now for our program. We are in for a treat today. We have Leon Moses with us. Leon was born in Patterson to the late gospel promoter John H. Moses. His love of music began in the church, and he went on to traveling and singing with many musicians. He's currently recording gospel music with producer Kenny Davis, Ron Foster, and others. We're very fortunate to have Leon here with us today to share his love of singing with us. And to accompany Leon, we have Ron Foster here at the piano. Ron is currently the Minister of Music at the St. Paul Baptist Church in Passaic. In 1999, he organized the group Ronfo and Kindred Spirits Gospel Jazz Ensemble and Orchestra, which has performed in many well-known venues, including here at the Wayne Public Library. And we have with us today the Reverend Wayne Coleman. Pastor Coleman is the senior pastor at the Madison Avenue Christian Reformed Church in Patterson. The majority of his time in the ministry was spent in Holland, Michigan, where he and his wife Ruth received the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Social Justice Award from the city of Holland. He has over 25 years' experience as a pastor, and he and his wife Ruth started the very first Juneteenth festival in Holland, Michigan. Today, Pastor Coleman will address freedom, justice, and peace, building communities without violence. We welcome you, Pastor Coleman. Ron and Leon, I turn the program over to you.
Yeah, Good afternoon. I am delighted to be here. You know I'm delighted to be here if I took off work to come here this evening, you know. And we're going to do a couple of numbers. The last song I'll wait to introduce you to is a song, one of my original, I wrote the song, and Ron did the arrangement. But this song is an old song that the slaves used to sing. It's called "Oh Freedom." Oh, freedom, oh, freedom, Oh, freedom over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord to be free. I'm going to say that again. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord to be free. No mourning, no mourning, no mourning over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord to be free. And they used to sing it like this. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord to be free. And this is a song that I take to heart because it tells if I could help somebody as I travel along. We all know if you help somebody, the blessing comes back to you. So keep that first in mind because that's what God wants us to help each other. If I could help somebody as I travel along, if I could help somebody in a word or a song, if I could help somebody from doing wrong, no, my living should not be in vain. We'll say that again. If I could help somebody as I travel along, if I could help somebody with a word or a song, if I could help somebody from doing wrong, no, my living will not be in vain. No, my living should not be in vain. My living should not be in vain. If I could help somebody while I sing this song, then my living should not be in vain. If I could help somebody as I travel along, if I could help somebody with just a word or a song, if I could help somebody from doing wrong, then my living shall not be in vain. Whoa, my living shall not be in vain. Oh, my living shall not be in vain. If I could just help somebody, no matter the color of the skin, then my living shall not be in vain. Thank you. That song really touches me. Right about now, I'd like to do something a little different. I'd like to do a song I wrote, and it's called God is Amazing. And God is amazing because he woke us up this morning. That's the best part of being amazing, because we got another chance to do something. And the words are just, God is amazing. You know, we know, and I know that God is amazing. Excuse me, I have allergies at an older age. You can turn it up a little bit. I know that God, he is. He's truly amazing. I know my God, he is. He's amazing. He woke me up this morning, and I lift my hands in praise and say that God is amazing. We know that God, he is. He's truly amazing. We know that God, he is. He's amazing. He made the birds that fly. He made you and I. He made the sun, the moon, and the sky. We know that God is. He's amazing. This is my favorite verse. I know that God is. He's truly amazing. How many could testify to that? I know my God, he is. He's amazing. This is why. He fed 5,000 with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, made Pharaoh stand still. He raised Lazarus from the dead, and amazing. Everybody say, we know that God is amazing. Look at your neighbor and say, you know that God is amazing, amazing. He woke me up this morning, and I lift my hands with praise, and I know that God is amazing. I like this. We know that God is amazing. Everybody say, we know that God is amazing. Again, your neighbor know. You know that God is amazing, amazing. He woke me up this morning, so I lift my hands with praise, and I say that God is amazing. Come on, come on. I know that God is amazing. We know that God is amazing. You may have cancer and He saved you. We know that God is amazing, amazing. Well, He woke me up this morning, and I lift my hands in praise. He made the birds to fly. He made you and I. He made the sun, the moon, the sky. God is. We know that God is. You know that God is amazing. Listen. God is truly, truly amazing. God is truly, truly. You say that. God is truly, truly amazing. God is truly, truly. Keep going. God is truly, truly amazing. God is truly. You keep saying that. My God is amazing. My God is amazing. You know my God is amazing. Well, He woke me up this morning, and I lift my hands with praise. He made the birds to fly. He made you and I. He made the sun, the moon, the sky. God is. We know that God is. You know that God is amazing. Thank you. Great job. Let's give Leon and Ron a great hand of applause. Great job. Thank you for those great selections. Those Negro spirituals are what they call them. Really takes you back. Every time I hear them, it brings me back to some of the stories of my grandparents that they used to share many times. So thank you both for leading us this afternoon with some amazing songs for amazing God. Well, I'm elated to be here again. This is great. Man, this is my third year. Must be doing something right here. So it's a blessing to be here on Juneteenth. Because I think it's so important to celebrate, to recognize Juneteenth. It's very important. And when I was putting together what words to say over the past few weeks, I was thinking about speaking for about
30 minutes today. But in the spirit of freedom, I've decided to liberate you from half of my notes. That's a little joke, make you laugh a little bit. Laughter is good medicine for your bones. No, to all the elected officials, if we have any here today, to community leaders, to members of the Jewish community, Christians, any Muslims here as well, our broader faith communities, neighbors, friends, and honored guests, thank you for gathering here this afternoon. Thank you for being here. And we gather here to honor those who carried hope, when hope seemed very impossible. We gather here to celebrate freedom. We gather to ask a question every generation must answer, I believe. What will we do with this freedom we have inherited? Because Juneteenth is not merely about the past, it's about the future. It's about what kind of communities will we build, whether freedom will lead us towards justice and peace, or whether division and fear and violence will steal what previous generations sacrificed to achieve. Today I want to speak to you about 3 words, basically. And those 3 words are freedom, justice, and peace. Freedom, justice, and peace. But before we do, let us remember why Juneteenth matters. On January 1, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation. Yet freedom did not arrive everywhere at the same time. For more than 2 years, thousands of African Americans in Texas remained as slaves. Then on June 19th, 1865, this is where Juneteenth comes from, the word Juneteenth. From June and 19th, Juneteenth. June 19th, 1865, some Union soldiers, one Union soldier called Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas. And he announced to the slaves that they were free. After 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. Imagine hearing that liberty that had been denied to your parents, your grandparents, had finally arrived to them. Juneteenth reminds us that freedom delayed is freedom denied. And that progress is never automatic. It must be pursued. It must be protected. And it must be passed on. That is why Juneteenth is not simply an African American story. It's more than that. It's bigger than that. It's an American story. And it reminds us why freedom, justice, and peace remain essential today. That's why freedom, justice, and peace is so important. Because where these 3 walk together, communities flourish. When these 3 do not walk together, we see suffering communities and violent communities. So first I want to talk to you about freedom. It's very interesting. I had no idea that they were going to sing the song today, Oh Freedom. I had this song in my notes here about how the old Negro spiritual, Oh Freedom, they used to sing this song, Oh Freedom Over Me, as Leon was singing. and before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave. But that was more than just a song. It was a prayer. It was a declaration that no human being should live in chains. On June 19th, 1865, in Galveston, Texas, enslaved African Americans finally received news that should have reached them long ago. They were free. The chains that bound their bodies had been broken by law. But everyone knows that legal freedom and lived freedom are not always the same thing. Freedom is more than proclamation. Freedom is more than a document. Freedom is more than just a holiday. Freedom is the opportunity to live with dignity. Freedom is the opportunity to contribute. Freedom is the opportunity just to even dream. Freedom is the opportunity to belong. And if we were honest this afternoon, freedom remains incomplete whenever people live in fear. That's not freedom. In cities like Patterson and communities across America, we celebrate the victories of our past while confronting the challenges of the present. For what does freedom mean to a mother who fears her child would not make it home from school safely? What does freedom mean when young people are losing their lives to gun violence before they ever have the chance to fulfill their God-given potential? What does freedom mean when gangs intimidate neighborhoods, when violence controls street corners, and when children learn to recognize the sound of gunfire before they learn to recognize opportunity? A community cannot fully experience freedom when fear dictates where people walk, where people live, and when families become prisoners in their own homes, or when young people feel trapped by violence and poverty and hopelessness. That's why freedom must be more than just the absence of slavery. Every child deserves the freedom to learn without fear. Every family deserves the freedom to live in peace. Every neighborhood deserves the freedom to thrive. Every neighborhood deserves that. And every generation must protect freedom. Because freedom cannot be weakened, should not be weakened by fear. Freedom can be threatened also by hatred. Freedom can be undermined when we stop seeing the humanity even in one another. Juneteenth reminds us that freedom is precious because it was purchased at a very great cost. But freedom alone is not enough. Freedom must lead somewhere. And that brings us to the second word, justice. Freedom must lead to justice. The prophet Amos declared, "Let justice roll down like waters, and righteousness like a mighty stream." Justice is what gives freedom its meaning. Without justice, freedom becomes a promise that many never even experience. Without justice, liberty becomes Liberty belongs to the powerful, while others remain marginalized. Without justice, communities become divided between those who have opportunities and those who do not. Justice means that every child matters. Justice means that every family deserves safety. Justice means that every person is treated with dignity. Justice means that we refuse to measure human worth by race, religion, ethnicity, nationality, economic status, or political affiliation. Justice means recognizing that every human being bears sacred value. Every human being bears sacred value in the eyes of God. And this principle is shared across most faith traditions. The Hebrew prophets proclaimed it. Jesus taught it. People of faith throughout history have even defended this. Defended it. And justice calls us to care for the vulnerable. Justice calls us to protect the stranger. Justice calls us to stand against discrimination and hatred and dehumanization wherever they appear. And in this moment of history, we need justice more than ever. For we're living in a time when division often receives more attention than unity. When outrage is rewarded more than understanding. When people are encouraged to fear one another rather than know one another. When immigrants are too often discussed as issues before they are recognized as human beings. When public conversations can become so harsh that we forget the dignity of those with whom we may even disagree with. And if we are honest today, the challenge before us extends far beyond our neighborhoods. As we gather together today on this Juneteenth, wars continue to rage across the world. Children in conflict zones go to sleep hearing explosions instead of lullabies. Families are displaced. Innocent lives are lost. Every bomb that falls reminds us that violence is not just a local problem, it's a global problem. And here at home, we must ask ourselves, what kind of culture are we creating? Recently, in the headlines, they celebrated right on the White House grounds the UFC championship fighting that was hosted right at the White House. And whether or not one enjoys this sport, it raises a very important question, though. What do we choose to elevate and celebrate as society? In an age when violence is already consuming too many of our streets, too many of our schools, and too many of our communities, we must be careful not to confuse strength with aggression or entertainment with the values we hope to pass on to our children. And at the same time, today marks the opening of the Obama Presidential Library Center, a place dedicated to preserving history, encouraging civic engagement, and inspiring future generations to participate in democracy and public service. These two images stand before us as symbols of choice. The UFC fight in the White House and democracy. One image reflects conflict, competition, and confrontation. The other reflects education, leadership, history, and the power of ideas. And every generation must decide which vision it must embrace. When we invest more more in fighting than in understanding, more in divisions than in community, more in winning arguments than healing wounds. Juneteenth calls us to choose a higher path, not the path of violence, not the path of hatred, not the path of fear, but the path of freedom guided by justice and sustained by peace. Then the final word leads me to peace. The world has never had more weapons, yet many people have never felt less secure. Nations threaten one another. Wars dominate the headlines. Political rhetoric grows increasingly hostile. Social media rewards outrage. Too often, we are taught that power comes from defeating our opponents, than understanding our neighbors. But the wisdom of every great faith tradition teaches something very different. Lasting peace is not built through domination. It's built through dignity, compassion, justice, and mutual respect. And when I speak of peace today, I'm not talking about the peace that is a silence, a deeper silence. I'm talking about the Hebrew scriptures, what the Hebrew scriptures call shalom. Shalom means more than just peace, a silent peace. It means wholeness. It means well-being. It means harmony. It means having a right relationship with God and with one another. Shalom is what exists when children can walk safely to school, when parents do not fear for their children's lives. That's shalom. When neighborhoods are free from violence and despair, that is shalom. When people from different races and religions and cultures see one another not as threats, but as neighbors, that is shalom. And this is the peace Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. envisioned when he talked about the beloved community. Because violence is ultimately a confession of failure. It happens when dialogue fails, when respect fails, when we stop seeing one another's humanity. And if we are honest, our communities desperately need shalom. We see the absence of peace when young lives are lost in gun violence. We see it when these families even grieve. We see it when fear becomes normal in our world. And every time violence is normalized, let me tell you something, trust is lost. Hope is lost. Community is lost. And this is why peace requires some courage. Peace requires some discipline. Peace requires willing to reject hatred. It requires us listening to one another and building bridges instead of walls. And this is the challenge before us this afternoon in my closing. Communities without violence will not happen by accident. Many times I tell people in our church, you pray, you say, let's pray, we got to pray for this. But I believe that prayer has feet to it. You got to do something about it. So this doesn't happen by accident. These communities of peace and shalom, they are built by parents, educators, faith communities, public servants, and neighbors who refuse to give up on one another. And none of us can do this alone. Not one church, not one synagogue, not one public organization. No one can do it alone. No government alone, no school alone, no police force alone, no synagogues alone, no churches alone, no mosque alone. It would take all of us together. And as we celebrate Juneteenth today, let us remember that freedom was never the end of the story. Oh, we got freedom now. That was never the end of the story. Freedom was just the beginning. The goal has always been something greater. A society where freedom produces justice, where justice produces peace, and where peace creates communities where every person can flourish. That's shalom. And may future generations say that we chose the better path. What would they say about our generation? Did we choose the better path? May they say that we chose freedom, that we chose justice, that we chose peace. And when our moment came, we became builders of hope, builders of reconciliation, and builders of communities without violence. May God bless you all. May God bless our communities. And may God give us the courage to build a future worthy of those who sacrifice for our freedom. Thank you, and happy Juneteenth.